Hi everybody, Patty Ann here. I want to show you a few things that I did today and a little bit of yesterday, adding by combining both sublimation and embroidery. This was something that I got from Cricut. It's a Cricut bag, and I really thought I was going to be able to put my 4x4 hoop in here, but I wasn't able to and adjust this the way I wanted to because I wanted to put him right here. So what I did was I just cut him out freestyle, embroidered him after I used my silhouette machine to get the fabric that I needed, and then I'm just going to go ahead and attach him myself. This little pig right here, I used the silhouette machine again to cut out the shapes that I needed for him, so I didn't have to be tedious about cutting around all these edges. This one y'all had seen me making yesterday, and I just put this on some fabric and I added a name right here, and I could easily make this into a little bag, little purse. This one you had seen yesterday, it's the baby onesie that I put the jungle scene, and I wish I had moved him down a little further so he would be against right here, because this is just the top half of the elephant, but you get the idea. It's cute. This one right here is something that I did, and as I said, I wished I had put him over closer, but I'm learning. I think it turned out super cute. It's a towel from Johnson Plastic Plus, which I have their link below. And this is the final thing that I made today that I'm going to go over with you. The sublimation is from Creative Fabrica. That's all this background part. And then these two butterflies are applique that I just put on here, and I'm going to show you how I did that now. Okay, this is the image that I used from Creative Fabrica, and I went ahead and made it so it was about 9 inches or 7 inches wide. Let's just go with 8. Okay, and that was what I used there, but I'm not going to show that because that was just sublimation. And of course what I did was I always flip horizontally here, even though there's no text on here, and I think it would have been super cute if I had written some text on here, or I could have some text embroider out. But what I wanted to do was I wanted to add a couple of applique butterflies on here. So this is what these look like. Okay, I'm going to begin by heating my shirt and checking the pressure. Could be a little bit stronger maybe. There we go. Just getting out the wrinkles and any moisture. And then I'm going to take my design and place it right down on here. Okay, and put a sheet over top of it, a blowout sheet. Just using regular cardstock. So I have my heat press set to 380 degrees, and I'm going to do this for 50 seconds. Okay, the time is just about up. Okay, that turned out really nicely. Hopefully you can see. So I brought in a butterfly, and it looks just like this when you first bring it in. Okay, this is the embroidered butterfly. Whoops, let me go undo that and go back. So if we scroll way in closely, you'll be able to see that there are indeed stitches there because it's an embroidery file. So what we're going to do is take it apart. Take off these stitches, take off these stitches, those, and let's see, is that the last one? That's the last one that there is. So I'm going to go ahead and make this a cut file for myself. So to do that, what I'm going to do is come to the offset panel and offset it. I'm going to offset it just a teeny weeny little bit. So I'm going to do mine times point, well, let's say 4. Okay, and you can choose whatever you would want yours to be offset by. A lot of times, let's see, I had a note here somewhere. Last time I was doing something, I think it depends on how big the image is. I did it, by 0.059, so almost 6. So I'm doing it a little bit smaller this time, and I'll say apply. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this part out, because this is actually the offset, this double stuff. This was my original. The offset here now, I have to right click on that and say release compound path. Then I'm going to get rid of the middle one because that one's smaller than my original. That's certainly not what I want. I'm going to keep this one because notice it's just a smidgen bigger than my original. Okay, so I'm going to keep that one. And that's the one I'm going to use for my cut material. Now, if you'd like to, you can make lines, and that's what I think I show later in the video. I made a vertical line like this with it selected. I came up here and said center, whoopsie daisy. I got to grab both of these and say, okay, hang on, let me undo that for a sec. All right, so here we go. So I got both of these. I'm going to select both. I'm going to come up here to this and say center it this way. So did you see it move ever so slightly? All right, now I'm going to grab one and I'm going to draw one across this way, holding down my shift key so it's straight. With that one selected, hold down shift, select my butterfly, come up here again, and this time I'm going to center it like this. Now watch that line at the bottom go up. Perfect, just like that. So then there are all of my things that I need, and what might mess you up a little bit is seeing my grid lines behind. But these are in case I want to have a print out of these, and a lot of times I like to. So what I could do right now is just go to File and Print, but you're going to see something weird. My lines that I just drew don't show up. If that happens to you, and it will, you need to give your lines a little bit of weight. So I'm going to select this one, come up here to where it says PT for point size, and just change it up 1 dot, 0.25. Same thing with this one right here. I can up it like that. And then I could group these all back together if I want to. And now if I go to File and Print, you'll see that those lines are going to show up. And that's important because it helps you to be able to figure out where you want to place your embroidered applique later. So I'd print that out, but I've already done that. So then what I would do is I could take this and make this a cut file, and that's where I'm going to show you next. What I would do is just go to Send, and because there were different colors in those lines, I can send it by line color, can uncheck all of these. So if I have the black checked, remember those are the lines I made, I don't want those to cut. All I want is the outer edge like this to cut. So what I'm going to do now is I would go, let's see, Send. Oh dear me, gotta turn that off. I didn't really want it to start yet. And then I would change this. I don't want it to be cardstock plain. I would change this to fabric, thin cotton print. This is just for my machine and my knife. I know this works. I would change my knife depth to a 7. Whoopsie, it's going to say nothing's there. My knife depth to a 7. My speed to a 3. My pressure to 25. And I would cut around it twice. So it's still reconnecting, so you'll see it now in a sec. Fabric thin, I made it a 7. My force again is going to be 25, and my speed I lowered it down to 3, and my passes I said 2, and then I cut it. Okay, I sublimated it, and now I'm choosing some fabric that I think would look the best, and that's the one I've chosen, and there's where I want my butterfly to be, and I thought that would be perfect. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get my iron ready, and I'm also going to get my Steam a Seam 2 light prepared. So I'm cutting a piece of that right now, and then I will be ironing that to the back of this fabric. Okay, here I have my piece of Steam a Seam 2, and I'm getting my fabric ready, looking for a piece that's not too big or not too small. Okay, I finally decided on a piece, so I'm just going to iron this on the back of my fabric. So you peel it apart and you keep the sticky part and throw away the backing. The sticky part is going to be stuck on the back of my fabric, and I'm going to iron it onto there. Okay, oftentimes I'll use a piece of parchment paper, but this time I didn't, to keep it from getting stuck on my ironing mat or my iron. So now I'm going to wait until it cools pretty much completely so that the gluey part will really adhere. And I'm kind of trying to see where I think I might like to have the butterfly based on the pattern that's on the back of it. Still a little bit hot, but okay to peel, I guess. So now you can see, if you look closely, that it's kind of shiny and it's definitely sticky on the back of the fabric. And that's exactly what I want, because I'm going to put that sticky part right down on my mat. First, however, I'm going to cut this excess off just so I don't get confused as to where is the good part of the fabric, meaning the part that has the steam seam on it. So I'm going to get out my mat, and as I've said before, this is just a regular grip mat, and I do just use my regular auto blade, nothing fancy. I do like to make sure that I press it down quite a bit and use my squeegee. Okay, what I've just done is I've turned off the registration marks because I don't need those anymore. I'm not printing this, I'm just going to cut it. So I'm going to go to cut edge, select it and say cut edge. And again, I'm going to make sure that my settings are the fabric, 7 for knife blade depth, force is 25, speed of 3, and twice the number of passes. And I'm going to put that on my mat right now and really squeegee it down, as I said, and put it in there and let it begin cutting. Okay, here's the shirt and the mat, and if I pull this off, it works perfectly. As I may have told you before, I have found that batik fabrics work really, really well, or densely woven, like quilt shop quality cotton. Okay, so I'm going to kind of see where I want to place that, and we'll go over to my embroidery machine now. Okay, as you can see, I have my shirt here. I have the back of my hoop inside of here, along with some no-show mesh stabilizer on top of it. I know where I want my butterfly to be. There's the center grid here, and remember the center grid that I drew on my butterfly. So he would go like that, but I don't want him straight up and down. I want him like that. So what I did was I rotated him in my software right there. So he's going to start right here. So what I can do now is go ahead and put on the topping, or the top part of the hoop. Click it down into place. There we go. And make sure that's really tight. I can take this piece out, don't lose it. And again, that's my little butterfly. So now what I need to do is, oh, I don't have this hoop very well. Let me fix that a little bit. Got to have it taut so it doesn't, oopsie, stretch. I really should use my other hoop that's not broken. I don't know how I broke this one. I think I stepped on it one time. All right, there we go. Okay, that feels nice and taut. If I want to, I could come in here and make sure I can't tighten it. It's just finger tight anymore. And that's good. And now I'm going to put this on my machine. So I have to be careful when I click this into place and I move the shirt around that I'm not going to be embroidering through both layers, the front and the back. So put that on there like that. Again, this is just a 4x7 or 4x4 hoop, so you could easily do this in the more inexpensive embroidery machines. moving all of it out of the way, making sure there's nothing under there that shouldn't be. I can kind of feel there's nothing there that shouldn't be. Okay, make sure it's still taut. Feels great. Okay, so I'm ready to begin. I'll just start with black thread so I could see, and I'm ready to start. Oh, I've got to go to close and sewing, and now I'll hit this. And we'll see. I hope the butterfly is going to be exactly where I hope he's going to be. It's a little close to that one. I guess that will be okay. Okay, now it's time to place the butterfly that I cut out that has the sticky backing. I'm going to place it right over top of that. And again, the beauty of doing it like this is I don't have to worry about cutting along here with really fine scissors. So I'm going to do the next thing. I could have used a patterned fabric too. That may have matched the butterfly colors really well. But I think with the orange and the black, this will be fine. Hopefully, whoa, hopefully you can hear me and see okay. Okay, so I put the extra one on here that I cut out with my portrait. And that's the beauty of that, because I could just do it without having to worry about cutting around it with the scissors. Okay, and now it's going to do the satin stitch. Okay, that sound means it's finished, so let's take it off and see what we have. Fingers are crossed, it's going to look beautiful. Okay, it's cute. It's very cute. I like it a lot. As I said, I might have wanted to make the butterfly. You know, I didn't look for very long for a pattern for this, or I might have wanted to make it with different colors, like some striping in there and that kind of stuff. Okay, here's the finished shirt. Maybe not your cup of tea, but hopefully I've wet your whistle. I've gotten you excited about trying some new things with your embroidery machine and sublimation. Combining both of them together, I think it's a fabulous way to be able to extend what we can do with our silhouettes, crickets, you know, your portrait, whatever, your scan and cut even, to do sublimation and then add embellishments. Like I said, I could have put text on here. I could have embroidered that on there, or sublimated text on here as well. So thanks so much for joining me. If you like my tutorials, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe. I really appreciate it. Also leave comments. And do check out the links down below, especially in my Amazon store. I set up a sewing and embroidery part so that you can see the products that I like to use. So thanks again, you guys. I'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.